Two Jack Bros. Two Jack Bros.
Welcome back to another episode of Two Jack Bros. And if it's your first time, welcome and thank you for giving us a shot. I am Sidney. I am sitting next to Ansley.
Hello.
And today our guest is none other than the Geoff Colella. I didn't say that last name right, did I?
You actually nailed it.
I nailed it?
You nailed it. I thought it was great.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, gusto. It was nice.
Yeah, I do. I was like, if there's anything I can do, is be wrong confidently.
Yeah.
Is one of my
Yeah, and if you were wrong, I wouldn't have corrected you. I'd have been like, that's me.
The Jeff Charles. Yeah. So thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So before we get started, I want to remind you guys to do all the things you do to show love to a podcast, like rate, subscribe, review, all that stuff. Tell a friend, join our Patreon, and be sure to check out Jeff's podcast, Big Boy Mountain. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And Jeff, so do you know what we do on this podcast?
Like a general overview. I listened to a few episodes.
Okay, so all right, that's a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You know, there's no. You know, it's so funny because when I ask people that, they're like, "Oh my fuck, what am I supposed to say here?" You know what I mean?
Die hard for a long time. First time, long time.
So if you don't know what we do on this podcast and it's your first time, the basic premise of this podcast is to prove that you can have a dark, maybe even inappropriate sense of humor and still reach enlightenment or a higher consciousness. We take our guest, who is going to be Geoff today, through the process of enlightenment so that you and us, Ansley and me, can laugh our way to a higher consciousness without doing all of the vulnerable work that Geoff is about to get into.
I love that.
Yeah?
I'm like the legwork, the labor of the journey.
You're the proxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or I mean, depending on how much of a nerd you are the avatar.
I'm a big Avatar guy.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
Big Avatar guy. Yeah, it's like my it's like my comfort show. I feel like when I throw on and I just, smoke a little bit late at night, I'm like, I don't really feel like getting into anything. I'm just going to throw on a little Avatar. I know the hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know the hits.
Yeah,
I finished Korra recently, and I was like,
Nice.
Yeah.
okay.
The kids were watching it, and the blood-bending episode came on. The Puppet Master.
one.
They were like, "The Puppet Master's on."
Some good villains in that one. Yeah, I like the villains.
Dude, there's
in
good
that one.
villains in both of them.
Yeah, of course.
And not to beleaguer the point, but all of our kids have names that come from the Avatar / Legend of Korra universe.
I know. I was gonna ask because obviously Korra, but
Korra.
yeah.
And then my son's middle name is Mako. He wants to pronounce it Mako instead of Mako.
Okay.
So it's Mako. And then my other daughter's middle name is Jet.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're having a good
I've
time.
said. So is it? Because wait. So is it Mako or is it?
In the Legend of Korra, they pronounce it Mako.
Right.
Yeah.
And wasn't he named after the voice actor for Iroh, who passed away?
Yeah, we're like, our fascination and obsession stays in the cartoon.
Understood. Sorry. But like, Geoff, do not take me out of this.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who does any voices for anybody.
I'm like that guy. I'm like, did you actually know that he was in this? I'm like just an IMDb page.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you actually know that the Uncle Iroh wasn't even in season 3? Like,
Yeah. We're basically posers.
Yeah.
So, Geoff, everybody gets the same questions on this podcast, right?
Okay.
And Ansley, let's get this man started.
All right, Geoff, what situation or event did you learn the most information from?
I would say probably like the first big boy job I had, because I graduated high school and I was working at Home Depot, but then I got that first salaried job, and I was working in an office, and I was actually in a cubicle, and I was designing cubicles. It was literally just an absolute nightmare, but it was the first salary job I had, and I was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing in life.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I feel like I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was like, I definitely don't want to do this. And it was I feel like my crossroads, in a sense, that I always look back on. I was extremely out of shape. I'm currently out of shape, but at the time I was pretty out of shape. Just hated my job, wasn't doing anything, and then I was going through a breakup, and then I ended up just listening to podcasts, listening to stand up all the time, just trying to get through the workday, and just was I got to make a change. And then I pursued comedy and made a career change and started driving a beer van, and I went from like spending like, from 8 to 5 in an office to just like being in bars all day long. Like, it was like maybe a different route, but I was like, this is still better than what I was like doing, just kind of like living in khakis.
Yeah. So a couple questions. Designing cubicles while in a cubicle. Did you ever get creatively blocked?
Yeah.
Were you ever like, man, I don't know how to make this cubicle?
Yeah. Well, there's only so many things you can do. Like, it's pretty limiting, but then you'd have like a client on the phone who'd be asking for like all these things. And I will say the company I worked for was like, they really overpriced. Like, they were like, this is a pretty good chair. It's like $6,000. And you're like, okay. I mean, who's this for? And they're like, it's for the Dallas Mavericks. And you're like, oh, okay. All right, now I understand. So like, if anything, you're just like, what can we do for the Dallas Mavericks? Maybe a lot of leg room in the desks? Like, there's only so many things you could do.
No. You're like high-end cubicles then.
Oh, high-end cubicles, yeah. Like floor plans for like, you'd get like a paper on your desk and they're like, this one's for like the U.S. border. And you're like, oh, okay, should I call them or like to discuss?
Do you want higher walls then?
Yeah. Right. And I'm just like a 19-year-old kid, just like no college education. Like, I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here.
I'm just imagining like on the border, they're making cubicles to keep out Mexicans from stealing that job.
Yeah.
Geoff, you're on the front line of keeping immigrants from stealing our jobs, dude.
I'm just we did a quote for the wall. It came in a little too high of a price. They were like, we're going to outsource, actually.
That's just the idea of like a Mexican immigrant making it all the way into like a corporation and they get thwarted by a cubicle wall. Like they almost stole an American job. Home Depot. You worked at How long did you work at Home Depot?
I worked at Home Depot for like a year and a half. I worked in the garden section. Mainly because like if you just aren't like, I feel like if you have to have like, you're a retired plumber, you'll be in like the plumbing section, a retired electrician, those are two like avenues you don't want to like just tell someone wrong information on because they'll like, ruin their home. But they were like, we can stick this guy out with the flowers for sure. He'll just tell people how much sunlight it needs.
Yeah. Okay.
Load up mulch.
He looks like he smokes weed.
Yeah, like they were like, put him outside, not talking to customers. Like,
now, were you an available Home Depot employee, or were you hard to find for customer service?
I was very hard to find. We would actually do this thing on Sundays at 1 because of football. Home Depot is empty. Like it is Sunday morning packed. 1 o'clock rolls around, it's literally empty. And every employee is in the back watching football. And then there's one department head coming back every like 30 minutes going, who is on the floor? Yeah. And just yelling at people until someone was like, I guess I'll do a lap. Like, I'll just do a lap and then you do a lap. But yeah, we basically just hid out behind the flowers the whole time. Okay.
Now, are you guys trained to kind of like feel when a customer needs you and then go the other way?
No.
Like
that's natural.
Okay. Just had to ask.
Yeah.
I had to ask.
That's natural. You just pick up on that.
Because like maybe they just want people looking around Home Depot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you never know.
Yeah.
But so you started comedy, and then what would you say? What was how would you boil down what it is that you learned from that, like being?
I'd say I learned what I didn't want to do, which I feel like I'm not great at making decisions. I'm more of like a passive, go with the flow kind of guy. So I feel like for me, it was just more of like a process of elimination of like, okay, don't want to do this. I do want more freedom. I don't want to be like under fluorescent lights, not near windows. Like, so then I went like the complete opposite direction. I was driving like the beer van because then I was literally out and about in market, like going into accounts every day, like talking to people. Like it was just way more up my alley, I feel like, as opposed to, kind of getting locked into the, potential corporate world.
Okay. Good.
I was just going to say, after college, I interviewed for a job for construction with jails, like building. And I thought I was going to die. Like if I got the job, I was like, this is going to like it was like soul crushing.
Yeah.
It was like,
permanent cubicles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Court ordered cubicles.
Yeah.
That's actually so good.
Yeah.
Just shaping it that way. We're like, we could spruce up your prison.
Yeah. So how important was that to your life? Like how was that
Huge.
was that a big life change for the way that you were conducting yourself at that point, and what was that change?
Yeah, I feel like I was just depressed. Like, I feel like I was just really not in a great space, like, in the sense of, like, I would wake up and I would go get my Dunkin' Donuts sandwich, and then I would go sit in the cubicle, and then I would go to, like, Arby's for lunch, and then I would, like, go back to doing more cubicle stuff, and then I'd go home and smoke weed and pass out and just do the whole thing over again. And, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I got more of, like, okay, what do I want to do? How am I going to be happy? And then I, like, met my girlfriend, and, like, everything just kind of was clicking, and it was good.
Oh.
Driving a beer van, girlfriend. Yeah, no, dude.
Sorry,
For sure.
Inappropriate.
For sure.
I support love.
She runs it, dude.
Hell
When people ask me, they're like, you want to do this comedy show? I'm like, I got to ask my girlfriend. She runs the calendar. I'm not even sure what we're doing this weekend.
Nice. So when you went to, what was your Dunkin' Donuts sandwich, just out of curiosity?
Oh, the chicken sandwich on the ciabatta that they discontinued because they're fucks. I was so mad, dude, with the honey mustard on it. I had it down to the point where the guy, if there was a super long line, because it was in Cherry Hill, so it was like a packed Dunkin' Donuts, but the guy would literally see me, point at me, and throw my sandwich on the grill. He knew I was a regular, which was a problem. I saw that guy at a different Dunkin' Donuts like a year later, and he shook my hand. And I was like, dude, I got to get it together.
He's
Like,
probably happy you were still alive.
yeah, right.
You were the only person eating that chicken sandwich in the tri-state area. It's the what? And then what would your go-to Arby's?
I always get like the chicken fingers because the only places near me were in that like little area that I worked at were Arby's and a Subway, and so I would like crush a foot-long meatball sub or just have Arby's and be like, man, I'm like really out of shape right now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's probably whatever they put in that Dunkin' Donuts chicken.
Yeah,
That's no way that's real chicken.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no way, but it was delicious compared to, their limited options.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. So I get it. So you learn to start living life for you, I guess, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I hit a point. I still feel this way. Like, I hate the 9 to 5 format. I just don't think. Like, I don't know. I think I just like came out of like high school, like just so naive, and I came into the real world, and I was like, so I just work forever.
Yeah.
That's it. And then what? Like, I get like 3 hours a day at home. Like, that seems. It was crazy to me that I was like, I literally see people at work more than I would see my family. Like, that is weird to me. And then I worked 8 to 5, and it was like an hour commute, so it was like from 7 to 6. I just wasn't home. And I was like, this sucks, dude. I'm just out here doing shit I don't like for 11 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just did mathematically. I was like, this does not make sense to me.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I
Don't
like
like
that.
it.
Take charge of your time.
3-day
time
weekends,
is
4-day
valuable.
weekends. That's what I'm
Yeah.
about.
All right. So, Jeff, we're going to open up these chakras starting from the bottom chakra up. You cool with that?
Yeah, yes.
Verbal contracts are legally binding in the state of Pennsylvania, Jeff. You cannot take that back.
I'm in. I will say, couldn't tell you the definition of a chakra. If you put a gun to my head, would not be able to tell you.
We barely can. We also don't have a gun. But, you want to tell them what chakras are
They're
real quick?
energy centers throughout your body, and if your energy, if it's not flowing, if it's not working correctly, it can also have health impacts on you.
Oh, can it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like when Aang's chi was blocked, or
What,
like
the,
Hora's?
what, the Guru episode?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Is like
You
that?
mean
Yes.
what this podcast is absolutely based off
Is
of?
it?
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. All right. Now, see, we use Avatar terms. I'm in there. Let's go. Now I'm in.
Hell yeah.
All right.
My favorite part about that is you said you didn't know what chakras were. And when Ansley was defining it for you, there was for sure a question mark in there. She asked you if it was okay if she said that. So yeah, Ansley,
Yes.
take it away.
So, Jeff, how did you learn to overcome fear?
Ooh. It's a good question. I don't know. I think I just like rechannel it in a different way. Like, I think it's like before, I guess just related to stand up because it's easier, but I think like before, like, you'd be afraid to get on stage. Like, you have that initial, like, this is a big step. I got to like mentally prepare to even get up here, publicly speak, stuff like that. But then I think now I've like channeled it to be like, well, now my fear is like wasting the potential, or like not, committing, I guess, or like not caring about any type of, not to be corny, but like legacy, not like comedy legacy, just like something that you're not like, that you're like, I'm proud of, this is the thing that I did, as opposed to like just sitting on the couch all the time because I'm like scared to go do something. So I think like rechanneling my fear to benefit me is probably how I do it. I just play a lot of like mental mind games on myself, I think.
Could you give us an example of how that mental mind game would work?
Yeah. So I'm a borderline insane person. So like
Good start.
like legitimately, I'm so superstitious and I believe in like jinxes and stuff like that. So like I'll negatively, like if I'm like, I'm going to do well tonight, I know that I'm going to fucking suck tonight. Mm-hmm. But because it matters to me, I'll walk into it and be like, I'm going to bomb. I feel like I have like that Nate Diaz, like I'm going to get knocked out. I assume that, but if I don't, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, and I think, I constantly am playing like I don't care about this, even though it's super important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I have to do it, or else I'll just be like, anxiety ridden all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tough being a highly superstitious person.
It's very challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I used to be, because there was a moment when I realized that it had just gone too far. Because I was always a really superstitious person, and then on the night of an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, we were all out. We were living in an apartment complex. This is before we had our son, so this was at least 10 years ago. Yeah, and we were all out watching a lunar eclipse with our neighbors. And I'm always messing around with people. So everybody's, the eclipses take forever.
Right.
Right. It's like nobody had ever, up until their adulthood at that moment, had ever went out to like watch the progression of a lunar eclipse.
Right.
So we were all out there with our mouth and it was like 2 hours later, like, okay, what's happening here? So people started going back in. And then I said, you guys do know that it is bad luck to not finish a lunar eclipse that you start. And I was just fucking around with people. Right. And then multiple people decided to come back to the lunar eclipse instead of going in. And I even wanted to go in. Yeah. But now I couldn't.
Because you brought them back.
Because since people believed what I said, in my mind I was like, shit, this is true now.
Yeah.
So now I'm stuck out here watching a lunar eclipse off of a superstition that I made up to fuck with people.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I gotta stop. This is too.
Superstitions can be crippling depending on you or the people you're with.
Yes. I mean, we stayed and watched that eclipse. It was insane. So,
but you say you can do that though. You got through that.
Yes,
that's something you guys conquered.
I did, and as a reward for it, the next day I was like, now I'm allowed to not be superstitious anymore. I did it.
Release.
Yeah. So Geoff, can you remember an experience or a time when you were the most scared?
Ooh, I was the most scared. Just in general, just like okay. Okay, yeah, kind of related. Ooh, actually, kind of even relating to the superstition thing. So I actually was on a cruise with my family.
Already terrifying.
Yeah, already, right? Right,
Yeah.
already. So you're trapped at sea. Trapped at sea with my family.
Water cubicles,
Water
cubicles.
Literally. So I'm just like trapped at sea, and we're going through. This is not an exaggeration. We're going to go through the Bermuda Triangle, and I like immediately start having like a mental spiral because I'm just like, are you out of your mind? The Bermuda Triangle? Why would you not go around this?
Did they announce it as like, this is cute? Like, how cute,
like
guys?
they were like, we're going to be entering it in like 2 hours, and I was like, oh my god, we have 2 hours to live. And not only that, but it was like literally the passing of like one day into the next, and it was becoming Friday the 13th.
Oh no.
So we were going through the Bermuda Triangle on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, it's also hurricane season, because my mom likes to shop the deals. So we went to the cruise in hurricane season, and they were like, a hurricane's coming, and a hurricane literally hit our cruise ship, and like me and my brother like fell out of bed, like our room was like on a slant. It was like Titanic, like it was insane. Yeah. I literally remember going like, I'm gonna fucking die on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And this is so lame.
Yeah.
Like what for? What, endless buffets? Like, what were we even here for? I'm gonna die on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And I was just mentally like, you guys did this. It's the Bermuda Triangle on Friday the 13th. No one mapped out this day.
Yeah.
Nobody.
What is it when you're on a cruise ship and a hurricane hits it? Is it like you said, the boat's tippy and like you look out little round windows and like see the
our room didn't have a window.
Okay.
So it was even more terror. You're just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like we're in a cubicle. We're in the water cubicle. Like there's nothing.
Oh geez.
And I remember they like shut down the first like few floors.
Yeah.
And had people like move up to higher floors.
Oh.
Because they were like, a lot of water's getting in. And
Yeah.
we were like, do you guys
geez.
have a plan for this? Or
Yeah.
So then we just went
So
to
we
like,
have a plan as soon as I find my black cat
right.
around here somewhere.
There's like a ladder outside the door. You're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So that was probably like one of the more, I was like, kind of coming to terms with, I feel like death in a way.
Yeah, how long was that fear? Like how long was
night.
the whole
whole day.
yeah,
The whole night. I like eventually I think fell asleep just because
passed out from fear?
I think so. Like, I don't know. I don't remember going to sleep. I think I blacked out.
Took a fear nap.
Potentially permanent.
Yeah, that's okay. So now, were you able to, in that moment, if you remember, were you able to channel that fear into something else, or were you just like,
Yeah, I was like, God, dude, I love my girlfriend because we weren't dating yet, and I was like, I gotta be with this girl because like in my head I remember being like, I was pulling the lame, we weren't like committing, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like more of like this talking stages. So I feel like that was one where I was like, I gotta like really buckle down and get my life together in a way.
that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's a wild experience.
Very wild.
Yeah, so we'll definitely consider that a fear chakra unlocked.
Yes.
You feel good about that? That's a butthole release. You feel good?
I feel a little,
Yeah?
I feel good about it in a way.
Hell yeah. All right, Ansley, take it away.
All right, Geoff, this is a little segment we like to call My Bad. It's a chance for you to apologize to a person, place, or thing in order to set your karma back to neutral.
All right, we just got doing. It's because I do stoner dads, which we get like unbelievably high on Thursday, and then like I can't stop smoking on Friday, right? And then Saturday is like when I'm finally starting to tail off, and then today like I haven't smoked at all, and my brain is just a fog. You know what I mean? It's like a weird. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
And maybe I gotta, because usually I will not smoke all day Friday, but this past week I was smoking a lot. Whatever, I gotta figure that shit out.
All right.
We just got done doing Jeff's Patreon episode, and boy was it a good time. $1 gets you all of our content on our Patreon, which includes the counter to this podcast you're watching right now, which we call Two Jack Bros After Dark, where we enlighten our guest's shadow self, as well as our fight commentary and analysis on Ansley's jiu-jitsu matches and some comedy stuff, some stand-up comedy stuff. Jeff, did you have a good time on the Patreon?
I had a blast, honestly. That was great.
Hell yeah. You hear what he said? He ain't lying. Check out our Patreon. $1 gets you all of our exclusive content. Can't wait to have you in there. And now we're going to get back to the episode and find out who or what Jeff has to apologize to.
All right, yeah. I feel like I would have a couple, but it would be disrespectful to not say the main one. Okay. So I graduated. I was like 1 year out of high school, and we went to, my buddy was like, let's go to this water park. And we went to this water park in Jersey. It was like an indoor water park. And like, like how you go to like the locker room and like families are like getting situated and putting stuff in the cubbies or whatever and like going out in the water park. And we were leaving and the bathroom was like in the locker room. Like it wasn't like a separate room. It was just like right there. And I like went, to relieve myself. And I went to flush it and it just started to come back up.
Oh, no.
Wait a second. Jeff, it doesn't sound like you went to relieve yourself. It sounds like you took a shit.
I took a mean shit, like a double plunger oriented. Like it was like it. You would have had to call backup.
Relieving yourself, that's a number one, Jeff.
Okay, all right. I felt
Right?
I felt relieved.
When he said relieve yourself, you for sure was like, oh, he took a piss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jeff.
Maybe you guys have different bathroom thing. I shit way more than I piss easily.
Yeah.
Easily. But it basically was coming back up and like. They're like kids, like getting changed and like getting their like swim shoes on and stuff like that. And I literally had to be like, okay, I can either own up to this, wait for someone to come in,
hollering.
stand by the stall. Like that was me. Sorry about that, fellas. Like, pick up your feet a little bit here, whatever. But I genuinely ran out of the locker room. And I said, we got to get the fuck out of here. And my buddy was like, what? And I was like, don't, let's just go.
Yeah.
And
You didn't even stay in water park.
Didn't. Left the water park. Left it. And to this day, I don't know how many families like water park day was ruined because there was just like a lazy river of just shit coming out into the locker room. So I'd like to apologize to families overall. It's something that eats me up every day. It's definitely like the worst thing I've probably ever done is just like ruin people's families like day. Like that big water park day.
It must feel good to get off your chest.
Yeah, it does feel nice, actually. It does feel really nice. I felt really bad about that for years.
Yeah, you families know who you are.
Yeah.
If you know who you are.
Sorry, Sahara Sams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. That is, I don't even think I have follow-up questions for that. Do you have anything?
No, it just makes me think about one time I went to a water park birthday party with my son, and my mom came with me because we had the girls and they were little. And so we're there, and Finn's like, my tummy hurts. And my mom's like, okay, I'll take him to the bathroom. And they're gone for like ever. And like, but I had the girl, I was like, oh, okay. What? She came back so scarred. Apparently he like didn't make it to the bathroom. He like shit like his bathing suit. And then she proceeded to like try to clean his bathing suit, and she's like, I put my hand in the toilet with it, and I tried to shower him, and I was like, you should have just been like Geoff and ran out of there and left it, like throw the suit in the toilet or the trash and like been like, okay, I'm out. But and she doesn't get scarred by much, and she was very scarred by it. But I was like, I felt bad because I was just like, I don't know what they're doing in there. I have a total excuse.
She sounds like a good person, though. It sounds like she handled it. Like, I didn't handle it. I ran away. Because I was like, there's just I can't win this scenario.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, one time before my daughters were born, my son was just like an infant. Ansley was changing his diaper, and while she was doing that, he exploded shit all over her. Now I'm in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, like shaving or doing some bathroom shit, and Ansley comes like screaming, hollering, running to the bathroom, and I open up the door and I see her covered in shit, holding my son, and my first reaction was to close and lock the door. I couldn't even help myself. It was just like, so Geoff, I get where you're coming from is what I'm saying.
You're like, you're not my family?
Yes. So we'll consider that a pelvis chakra unlocked.
Yeah.
Is a wild apology. I'm sure many people out there, dude, we're not the only two people that after you said that start thinking of our shit story.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like people are pausing this podcast right now to think of all their shit stories.
Yeah, for sure.
We all have at least a handful.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. And we've all escaped a toilet or two.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You run away from that.
Yeah.
Because my thing is like, you gotta have the proper tools ready to get, like, have a plunger. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But like, if your staff is like not in shouting distance, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep a portable plunger in my fanny pack. So I'm always ready, Jeff. All right, Ansley.
All right,
Let's
we're
keep
to
it
the
moving.
gut chakra now. How do you overcome disappointment?
Ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. I don't know. I feel constantly like, I feel like most scenarios, I'm like, I'm most likely disappointing somebody. Like, I'm sure my parents love me, I'm sure they weren't like, stand-up comedian. That's what he wants to do right there. That's what we want for him. Driving that beer van around. Like, that was it. Like, my dad's like a very corporate America man, like, tie to work every day, like kind of one of those. Like,
What does he do?
He's a regional manager for a storage company. So he is on the board for some storage company.
That's like a cubicle for your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not a pattern. Not a pattern here. You're like confined spaces.
Yeah.
Are you an only child, or are there
No,
others?
I'm the oldest of 4 boys.
Oh, okay.
So I have 3 younger brothers. Which
All
also I think is a level of trying not to, you want to be like, you're like forced in a role model position,
Yeah.
I think, in a way. So you try not to like disappoint your brothers and stuff like that. Show them how things are supposed to be handled and done, is like, being a man.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always like to ask this question because we did do a little bit of a pre-interview beforehand because I was so late getting stuff ready that Geoff had to sit around and talk to me before this.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry you had to sit around and talk to me. But so I know that you did do sports. Do you have any disappointment, or even if you did theater or any type of performance stuff, but any sort of disappointment that you still think about every now and again from that experience?
Yeah. I mean, I just wasn't. I wasn't like a gifted athlete, I definitely had to work for everything that I got. You know what I mean? Like I earned spots in lineups if I was there, or I wasn't in the lineup because I didn't earn it. So, but yeah, I'd say like I got injured. I know we talked about it a little bit briefly, but yeah, I got like injured 3 times in one baseball season, my junior year, and then I never played organized sports ever again. So I had a slipped disc in my back.
Ooh.
I broke my pinky in my throwing hand, and then I had costochondritis in my chest, which is just like the inflammation of the cartilage in your chest or whatever. But yeah, so I basically I was like, well, I never even got to see what I could be as I was morphing into this adult body, because I hit a growth spurt late. I was 5 foot in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then I joined the football team and grew 9 inches.
Yeah, and became 70 years old.
Yeah, literally. They were like, your back wasn't built for this height.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, I mean, so you just didn't get to do anything in that baseball season at all?
No, I actually, it was funny. They go, Geoff, to get you kind of acclimated back into things, we're going to send you down to a couple JV games, get some at-bats in before you come back up. And I took, I want to say 6 at-bats that whole year, and I got hit by a pitch on 5 of them. And I was like, are we joking right now? Can I play? It felt like everybody was like, you will not play baseball this year. You are hurt.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
It's oh, you know what, Geoff? JV might be a little much. We're going to send you back down to T-ball real quick. See if you can Geoff comes back. It's I was hit by 3 pitches in T-ball. All right.
Yeah, it was coach pitch. I don't know. The guy was a real dick.
Yeah, that's all right, Geoff. I like that. That's we'll consider that a disappointment chakra unlocked.
Yes.
Sorry to hear about that, by the way.
It's okay. I had no future in sports, for the record. It wasn't like I was I could have been. I was never going to be. I think I was just I was robbed of my senior year of sports, or that with your friends, or stuff like that. But
it's just as a person who did flourish in high school sports, it's sad to hear someone say that they were too injured to play baseball.
Yeah, literally. Literally.
Wow.
It was all torso related.
Yeah.
A lot of the injuries, a lot of torque.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. People were like, I played the rest of the game on a broken leg. I'm like, well, I had to sit out because I had a sore finger.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's definitely tough. All right. I think we can keep that moving. We can keep it moving, Ansley.
All right, we are at the heart chakra. Geoff, what have you learned from grief?
Ooh, that's a good one. What have I learned from grief? Probably just, I don't know, I guess the basics of appreciating those around you, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think grief is just the most, it's time to be self-reflecting in a way. It's got to impact you in some way, or else it wasn't grief, right? It was just kind of you moved past it was nothing. So I imagine that, yeah, I don't know, I guess just appreciating life, not caring about like I said earlier, the 9-to-5 jobs and all that stuff. It's just being around people and doing things you want to do, spending your days how you want to spend them. Okay.
Now, are you reminded of a specific moment of grief when that question is asked?
No, knock on wood, I've been pretty fortunate, I would say. I haven't experienced too much grief, I would say, in my life. I think there's been more more appreciating before we've kind of hit that point, using one and just kind of changing the outlook and I don't know. I haven't experienced a lot of grief.
I'm a little confused by what you mean, but like you said, using one to deal with the other.
Yeah, I think if you have maybe not even a significant death or something like that, but where you lost somebody and going through that grief, it's I feel I can use this one instance to try to shape avoiding feeling this way in the future, because I feel like at least if I'm open to like appreciating that person in the present, I'm not going to feel like I lost them. I feel like it's like, well, at least I was aware of the present as opposed to harping on the past in a way, I guess.
So now, like, if somebody dies, you're like, oh, well, I love them.
Yeah, like it depends. Like, did I do a good enough job of making it that there's people in my life that I'm like, yeah, if I were to die or if they were to die, I would know that we were good, that we loved each other, that we respected each other, that we were on a good wavelength. There wasn't any type of like unsaid feelings or anything like that. I try to just be like really genuine and authentic with my relationship.
A strange thing to say to somebody, because it would be much more of a compliment than they could understand, right?
Yeah.
If you said to your girlfriend, you know, what makes me feel really good is that if you died, I wouldn't even care.
We had a good run.
Yeah, I mean,
we killed it.
Yeah.
Like, man, it wouldn't even bother me.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think ignorance. I think I just got to be like real ignorant to a lot of these things and just be like, yep, keep rolling. Keep on rolling.
Now, what was your initial grief experience?
Yeah, it was. I just like fucked up a scenario. I feel like I fucked up a good relationship with somebody, and then it was like an ex, and now we we don't talk anything like that, which is fine. Like there's no animosity. I think it was just like in the moment of, like she went and deployed into the military. Like she signed up for the military, and then I could have probably done a better job of like being the other person at home. Like, you know what I mean? Like being the non-military part of it and like understanding and like kind of but again, I was also like 17, 18 years old, so I was so fucking stupid.
So she went off to the military and you were at home being a bad bitch?
Yeah, literally. I was like, army boyfriends, am I right? Like, you're like, fuck, dude. But also at the same time, you're like, I respect you guys. You guys are awesome. Very nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Yeah.
It was tough. Yeah. But then you're like, I could have been better. I was just like I could have been more present. Like I just fucked that up where it was like, you could have just been more aware of how to handle, more of like a long distance type thing. Mm-hmm. And then you end up having to go through like a breakup in long distance format. So I feel like the grief's also like very mental. It's a lot of like, you're putting more weight on yourself than maybe you even need to.
It's like when you or listen to somebody tell something and as they're describing it, there's what they're going to say and then like what you hope they're going to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like as a comedian, that happens probably more than it should. But when you were saying that you messed up a situation, this relationship, and she deployed off to the army, like, dude, my heart was like, please tell me it's because you signed her up for the army.
Just fucking
like she didn't know. She just got called and deployed to the army, and you're like, fuck. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I know you've been really bored around the house. I signed you up for a hobby.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you cheated on her. You lied to her.
No, I didn't. I just didn't do. I think it was more of like a buildup of like suspicion, lack of communication. I actually was fucking golden. I was like good, but it's like the fear creeps in, and then doubt creeps in, and then it's like you assume things, and then it just becomes so like fractured that. Yeah,
wait,
I don't know.
The paranoia came from you, not her.
Both. No, it was both.
Okay,
it was mainly her.
Gotcha.
It was mainly her. But like, she would like, I don't know. It's like a whisper. It's like whisper down the lane, and then you're like, yeah, like Jeff was doing this. She's like, I wasn't doing it. I was fucking at the movie. I got so high, I fell asleep at the movies. I wasn't even like there with anybody. Like,
yeah.
But she's like, I heard you were at the movies, and I'm like, I fell asleep during all of 22 Jump Street. I've still never seen the movie. I paid to go see it. I fell asleep the whole movie. Like,
yeah.
Did she have? Were you in like still in your guys' hometown? So she had like friends that she would talk to. That'd be like,
yeah,
I saw
like
Jeff
family. They were like,
this.
yeah, Jeff was at the movie theaters with like a girl, and I'd be like, I was with like 8 people.
Yeah.
2 of them were women.
Yeah.
I fell asleep next to my buddy Pat. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, but again, it's one of those things that you're like, well, you could have been like writing more. You could have been doing this, and you're like, yeah, definitely. I'm a fucking idiot, dude. I'm 18. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life. I'm barely. I still have acne all over my face. Like, I'm a child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and she was a little older than me as well. She was like a couple years older, so it was like a lack of maturity. I think we were on different places, and then it's really amplified when you don't see that person, and then they're just surrounded by like the most fit men every day. You know what I mean?
What did you feel like you lost when that relationship was over?
Oh, like my whole future, because I was like, this is my plan, this is my person. Like, again, naive, young, and then you're like, I feel like that's a lot of people when they go through like a breakup is they're like, what am I now going to do? Because I was going to do this with this person. Yeah. And now I have to reset. So I think that was part of the breakup as well, that I was like, I got into stand up because I was like, dude, I gotta get out and stop being depressed all the time. And so I'll just go to a room of comics and we can all be depressed together.
That's a good choice.
It's maybe like, not. It still could have been a real bad crossroad decision. I might have took the wrong exit, but
yeah. Like get out of the solo depression and go into a depression festival where everybody has it. Then nobody has it.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. Nobody has it. What did she? Was she a ranked military human being?
She was like just signing up and going through like the phases of like basic training and stuff like that at the time. So it was like, I'm sure she's ranked now. I'm sure she's fucking killing it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So she enlisted.
Yeah. Yeah. She enlisted. Yeah. She was, it was like helping also like pay for her college. Like she at the time was going to go to like be like a nurse and like, try to help her go through that. And yeah, it was just a big learning experience. I have no like animosity or anything towards the relationship. I think it's just like you learn that things could have been handled better on both sides. But like, that was definitely, I think, because I, again, haven't experienced a lot of like big deaths, knock on wood, but like that was probably a big loss for me of somebody that clearly I was like very attached to.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Sorry, I got real deep there. Sorry.
No, it's great.
I mean, it's kind of how this podcast goes sometimes. I mean, I guess I should apologize for asking the question.
No.
Technically, Ansley asked the question.
That's fine.
Yeah. So definitely heart chakra unlocked. Ansley, take it away.
All right, we're at the throat chakra, Geoff. So what is a favorite lie that you have told? And you get extra karmic points if it's still in rotation.
A favorite lie that I've told?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, okay. A favorite lie that I've told. That's a good one. Probably. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think I have too many lies currently in rotation, but I think I have had. I was like a big liar, like in elementary school. I feel
nice
when I didn't know that people caught on.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was just the best liar. Like I would go around and be like, "Oh, that's cool. My dad has 9 of those actually." So, and I'd be like, "Oh, that I actually made that myself with my own 2 hands." And you're like, "This is a super soaker." And you're like, "Yeah, I built that." And you're like, "It's a water." No, it was you bought it. There's a price tag on it. Like I feel like I was just like such a bad liar for so long that I eventually was like, lying is just not my thing at all. Yeah, I was a serial liar as a child.
Was there one that came back to bite you that you were like, all right, this has got to stop?
I actually threw a party one time at my parents' house in high school. Now that you said that, it reminded me of high school. But I threw a party one time in high school, and my parents came home, and my dad called out every single thing wrong with the house as if he was there. Like he was like, seems our dinner tables moved out 6 inches in case somebody needed to stand back here to be playing Pong or something. And I was like, were you fucking here? Like, how did you know? He's like, this was chewed up because the dog was locked in our bedroom because you didn't want the dog out with the... And I was like, oh, I had nothing to say that I literally lied by just denying, but nothing else. Like he would be like, this happened. And I'd go, no.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because why is there all the recyclables taken out? You never take out the recyclables. Felt like taking out the recyclables. That's what I wanted to do. But you didn't take it out here? No. Wanted to, it's too many cans. Like I didn't have. I felt like I had nothing. Like I just was like, no, you're wrong. And I did not throw a party here, even though there's so much evidence.
Yeah. And did they find out you had a?
I said it like years later. My dad was like, "Would you think that was like a big admission to me?" Like I fucking knew that already. But I was like, I did throw that party. He's like, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. I was never. We were never like maybe we were wrong with Geoff. Like,
yeah. Now, was your dad a partier growing up? Because I don't know if I would be able to walk into a room and notice party crumbs the way that your dad was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this hair on the floor is clearly from someone doing a keg stand, but this hair on the couch is clearly from someone laughing so hard they put their head back. Right. It's like what?
Somebody like punched like my wall as well.
Yeah.
I was like, elbow hit it going to the bathroom. And he was like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense. You took a piss and elbowed the wall. I'm like, yeah. Yes.
Aggressive peeing.
That's one of the things that people don't realize about lying is like you're not getting away with lying as much as the person you're lying to is just like, do I even want to keep doing this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious, like, they don't want to see you become the person you'd have to become to continue lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a good point.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever said that, and I think that is probably what I've been trying to articulate that for decades.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time I ever nailed it. But Geoff, I feel like, dude, I just feel like I want to point my finger at you right now. I just want to, oh, Geoff. Okay. That's the throat chakra unlock, Geoff. I'm gonna like move on this like from this before I start like yelling at our son.
Yeah. Get up here.
Get up. Yeah, he's 9 right now, Geoff. And
He's got some time.
He's got some time, but he needs to know that he can't get away with that.
Yeah.
You know? All right. Feeling good, looking good.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving.
All right. So we are to the third eye. So we're out of the physical and into the metaphysical chakras. So Geoff, what is something that you thought of as separate, but as you've gotten older, you've learned that it's really the same?
And if you remember, by the way, in the Guru episode, this is the part where Toph learns to metal bend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes. I don't know. I think maybe it would be like something that I thought was separate that is now the same. Mm-hmm. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. I'd say like maybe just the fact that maybe I thought that outside forces impacted like my life, and I've like taken on more accountability, I feel like, lately, where I'm like, oh no, it's 100% me. Like, I feel like I used to separate like my success or my things or don't line up with all the crazy things that are happening in my life right now. Mm-hmm. And that's what's derailing me from this to reach my destination. But I think, you hit a point where you're like, those are just excuses. Whereas before I'd be like rationalizing them as reasons as opposed to excuses.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I think you just need to have accountability of like, it didn't happen because you didn't go to you have to show up to the show, or you have to be at the mic if you wanted to have done that thing, or you have to, you can't be upset that you can't get a house right now because the market's bad. Like, go fucking get a house if you want to go get a house. Like, go do the things you have to go do. Don't take one thing as like, this is why I can't go do it.
Okay. So let me just see if I can parse this out. So you're saying your successes and failures are you when before you thought your successes and failures were coming from outside of you?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
A lot of outside I thought was more, like, it couldn't be me. Mm-hmm. It couldn't be me. Like, I think it was just, like, again, lack of maturity. But, like, you're like, no, these things are the reason. And then you're like, no, dude, you fucking suck. Like, you're sitting on the couch and you're like, it was a long day today. Maybe I won't go out. And you're like, a long day? Shut the fuck up and get out there, dude. Long day? That was the easiest. What did you have? Your first thought was a cop-out? Like, my first thought about going to this. I'm like, what if I didn't go and I canceled? Like, which I still do. I love canceling. Canceling is, like, one of my favorite things.
It's a pretty good time.
It's one of my favorite things.
It's a good feeling. That is a crazy thing that happens with comedians, though, is that you'll talk to comedians and they'll be complaining about not getting booked on this or not getting booked on that, and then you talk a little longer and you find out they've never contacted the booker for this and they never went to this show. They never, say, well, how do these people even know you exist?
Yeah.
You know, it's but yeah, that's a good one. I like that one, and I don't even have any. Do you have any follow up? I mean,
yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Absolutely. It's I still blame everything I do. I fail at on Ansley. Not really on Ansley completely, but it's like the fact that we had kids at such a young age.
That's not even true.
Yeah, man. Dude, in the prime, I was 33. in my prime. And you anchored me down with the kid.
Yeah.
I was robbed of my best years.
All right.
A lifelong ACL tear. You're just like, God damn it.
Shit. Now I can't be on Geoff's high school baseball team.
Yeah.
And there was an open spot because I was out.
All right. So that was definitely a third eye chakra unlocked. Ansley, take it away.
We're at the crown chakra. Final question.
Okay.
It's a two-parter.
Now, if you remember in the Avatar, he didn't completely open his crown chakra, which means he couldn't go into the Avatar state at any time. This is a big deal.
Right. That's when he left. Right?
Tar, yeah.
Left.
For
And he was like, you can't be leaving for that.
Yeah.
We need to be the greater picture here.
Yeah.
Actually, the guru was like, dude, bros before
Yeah,
hoes. Aang was too young to understand bros before hoes.
Yeah.
So
It's like the first like Guru Monkey's like scene since being back, and he was like, "All right, I'll see you later, dude. I got a girl I gotta go check
Yeah.
out."
Yeah.
sorry, these visuals ain't cool enough for me. So I'm sorry. Ansley, take it
Yes.
away.
So, Geoff, what is one thing you can't give up and why? That's the first part. And what would giving it up mean?
That's a really good question. I like that question a lot. I do this thing. I don't know if you guys get this way. I can't let go of like my time, like my wind down time, and like so like let's say I get home from a mic at 9:00. All right, well I need like an hour and a half, 2 hours to like smoke, decompress, get ready, like do my own thing out of that day, like have my me time and then go to bed. But I could also get home from like Raven Lounge at like 4:00 in the morning and I still need my hour to 2 hour of me time to decompress. Like I won't be like, gotta go to bed, the next thing. Like these are like, I genuinely like if I don't have that hour and a half or 2 hours of like wind down time, it's almost like you do shit like all day for like your girlfriend or work or stuff like that when I feel like when my girlfriend goes to bed is when I'm like, okay, now I can like do the shit that I play video games, play Call of Duty, get like just kind of come down and have me time where it's like I'm not just constantly. I have a hard time letting go of that, even though like last night I went to bed at like 4:00.
Yeah.
I got home from drinking at like 2:00, but my girlfriend went to bed and I was like, I gotta smoke and I gotta throw on some TV a little bit. I just need this time, even though I did not have a hard day. I was like, but I need this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would giving that up mean to you?
I don't know. I think it's like just too big of a sacrifice for me. Like I feel like that'll happen when I have kids. Maybe then I'll be like, I can rechannel this to children. But I feel like
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
right. I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say, is that not how it works? Or
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know how anything works.
If you want to sleep, I don't know.
yeah, right. I don't know. I think I'd have a hard time giving that up unless it was for like the greater sacrifice of like having a family and like having kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd have a hard time letting go.
I think for me personally, I'm more at a point where it's like I'm having a hard time. It's not that I'm not having it's not giving it up because like it's not something I'm holding on to now.
Okay.
Like that decompression time after shows that keeps you up late at night is actually something that I'm actively trying to stop.
Okay.
Because if I do go to sleep, when I wake up tomorrow, I feel so much more refreshed.
Right.
If I get longer sleep.
Right.
So it's yeah, it goes both ways. Man.
Logistically, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like when you say that, I go, yeah, go to bed. That's better. And then I don't because I'm like, I'm a degenerate night owl and I need time to play video games and watch dumb YouTube videos and smoke a blunt. Like, it's not good. It's not better.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't even I have so much anxiety over the fact that I need to be sleeping instead of doing what I'm about to do that I'll spend an hour about to watch YouTube videos. Right. Mm-hmm. Like literally with my phone in my hand, not doing anything, just like, I cannot believe I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
For 55 minutes. And then after 55 minutes, I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to bed without watching the videos now. I'm going to start watching the video. So anyway, but yeah, so that's, that was pretty much it, Geoff. How do you feel?
Feeling locked. I feel like I was very, I was a little more open than I wanted to I thought that I would be. Not that I wanted to be, more than I thought I would be coming into this. But
it tends to be how it happens.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing by any means, right? Like I feel like these are good. These are not questions that I feel like I ask myself. So they're very thought-provoking questions.
Yeah. Now you can go into the avatar state.
That'd be so fucking. If I just fucking lit up, and just
yeah, you have tattoos.
I do. Yeah, well, I do. It
Get
could
them to
light up.
glow.
The little arrow here could light up a little bit. But can I ask you guys this? Do you guys have your go-to of like what bender you would be?
Yeah.
Or do you guys are like, I'd be the fucking avatar?
Well, here's the thing though. You can try that, but even if you are the avatar, you have to start as one bender.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Water bending.
Water. Okay.
Yeah, dude, it's probably. I mean, I would want to be an earthbender because it's just what I want to be.
Okay.
But I'm probably an airbender.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little light on my toes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Twinkle
toes.
toes.
I'm for sure twinkle toes. It kills me. Kills me.
Do you ever have I love when people come up and they're like, I'd be a waterbender, and you're like, not even in your wildest dreams. Like, I love when people like don't have theirs right. You're like, dude, you would
Yeah.
not be a firebender. You out of your mind.
Yeah.
You don't have that in you.
It's like
Yeah.
you're not being true to yourself.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
like
my
as
kid-
much as you said the earthing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kid, everyone, they told me I'd be an earthbender because I like break things and stuff. I wish I was a waterbender.
Yeah, she walks heavy.
Yeah.
She walks heavy. So, but yeah, Geoff, thank you so much for doing that, man.
Yeah, thanks
that
for
was
having
awesome.
me.
Yeah, and you do have time to stick around for the Patreon,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Sweet deal.
Absolutely.
So Geoff is going to hop in on the Patreon. Just want to remind you guys that our Patreon is only $1 to get all of our exclusive content, which includes the counter to this podcast, which we call Two Jack Bros After Dark, because that's where we're going to enlighten Geoff's shadow self. Ooh. We also have some fight commentary and analysis that we do on Ansley's jiu-jitsu matches, but we're a little behind on that, but we definitely
do
do
it.
that. That's part of the $1 package. And some stand-up comedy stuff that we put up there. $1 gets you all of our exclusive content. That was the best I've ever done that. It was like,
Yeah,
what am I going to
stop
mess
him.
up?
Yeah.
What am I going to mess up? Yeah. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. We love all the support that we get from you people. We love all the messages that we get and how this podcast affects you in all the positive ways. Thank you so much for sharing all that stuff. It helps us keep going, but we probably would anyway because we're weird. But we love you guys, and we're
Yes.
out.
See ya.
Two Jack Bros. Two Jack Bros.